Welcome, everybody. We are here again at the Grizzly Hall to support heavy music in Texas. And yes, it doesn't get any better with thrash legends from San Francisco. I have with me Ted and Rob of the one and only Death Angel. Gentlemen, great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, my friend. It's great to be here.
Oh God, Rob Kavastani, we go way back, and I love you so much, man. I love who you are as an artist and a person, human being. You are awesome. And Ted, you're cool too.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Chinese Candy Rob.
I'm salty and I'm delicious. Yes, we're having a good time in Austin tonight in support of the band and this tour. I want to talk about, of course, we have to talk about The Evil Divide. Your latest release came out in May 2016. It hasn't even been a year yet, and you guys have really kind of been working this record, and it's done a lot of great things for the band. Let's talk about, first of all, I think one of the things that intrigued me was that there was no title track. The Evil Divide was just the title of the record. So talk a little bit about the theme, Rob, for Evil Divide.
There's no song called The Evil Divide, but it's definitely mentioned lyrically inside, within the album. So that was like enough to represent, why the album's titled that. And it's like multi-concept kind of thing, which is like a lot of our albums are. There's kind of different meanings for the title to us. There's personal reasons, and there's like worldly reasons. So the Evil Divide, on the reasons of the world, it doesn't take much to put two and two together with the evil divide that's happening all around us. And I'm not going to go into a tirade about it because we don't need all this and that. The tirade it's happening. You read the lyrics, listen to the music, and hear the songs, and you'll be able to figure it out yourself. And then again, the other evil divide, the personal reasons are, for me in particular, that might mean different things to different guys in the band, but it's just also the bizarre life we lead that is half the time on the road, away from home, and just completely submersed in music and giving all of yourself and life to music, and the other half, which is your life at home, friends and family, and stuff that doesn't have to do with making music. And it's just a really heavy trip to be so submersed in both for pretty much all your entire lifetime. And it's kind of wicked in of itself. It's not the easiest thing to live a kind of double life that way. That's a bit of a divide. That's a personal divide and shit like that.
Dude, I can completely relate. You sacrifice the passion for some of the other things that you love. You love them both.
Exactly. It's a never ending. Also, there's a lot of, obviously this record was very thrashy. Typical Death Angel. But there was a song on there that I wanted to ask you about. I don't, even though we can't talk about all the songs, I thought Lost was a very important and significant track. It got some recognition when it first came out as a single. But when I listened to this record, that song in particular was not really a thrash song. It was more like a straight ahead kind of this really cool, vibey, heavy melodic track that people could really get into. Talk a little bit about that, because it kind of stands out from the rest of what the band did on the record. It's definitely a different style. It's not a thrash song, like you said. It's not like a brutal, fast, but same time, we love straight up heavy metal and rock, and that's a song that represents that style of music that we like to play and listen to, and songs that we love. And it's actually one of my favorite Death Angel songs, period. And it's special when we play that song because it's really powerful. The lyrical, the message that's being delivered, and the melody, the way that Mark's singing that song, plus just the chords that we're using. It's real melodic. It's a very, very melodic song, but it's very powerful at the same time. It's not a ballad. It's a powerful melodic rock metal song, and it's just fun to play. I love playing that song.
I dig it. Do you guys play it live?
We do, but we don't play it all the time. It depends on the length of our set, who we're playing with. It's gotta fit the moment.
Yeah.
It's definitely a song that has to fit the vibe. You don't just throw that into the middle of when everyone's just raging fucking maniacally in a real thrash way. It has to have its moment in the set.
Death Angel's always kind of released these kind of like epic records, and it seems like since the reformation, technically or unofficial reformation of Death Angel back, during the first release of the new lineup, Relentless Retribution, that this was the first time. This is actually the third record that you guys have kind of maintained this kind of lineup, the new lineup, and how has putting the music together, writing together, the chemistry of the band kind of changed from maybe the old Death Angel?
Well, with this lineup, I mean, when it comes to writing, Rob writes the music. He slowly writes everything, and everyone in the band is a team player. We want to see the vision where Rob's coming from. When Rob comes up with a song, he has a vision, and we want to see it through. So, and once we get a basic structure of it, and we're played it quite a few times, then we throw in our little ideas, and Rob's really open to checking it out. Then we go back and forth. Things work, things doesn't work, and it's just a smoother process, in my opinion, on how it's writing. The vibe things get done much easier and faster.
And now that this lineup has been together for 3 years, has it gotten easier? Because you brought Will and Damien in at the same time, and they're basically the foundation musically as the bass player and the drummer. So kind of how have things gotten easier? I mean, obviously easier. All the shows and tours you guys have done so far, and I hate to even call these guys new guys because they're not new guys anymore.
Yeah, easier, yes, but also different in a way. Are
they more like willing to say, "Oh, I don't like that," or "This is not good"? Whereas before, maybe they would have held back a little bit because they're new in the band.
Well, they do have their say, but we're open to it, and there's no fighting. I mean, everyone's just on the same page. It's just flowing. It just flows and makes things so much easier, and it also helps that the band could tour a lot as well.
Yeah.
I
mean, you have to continue to be an economically feasible band, and you need to be out on the road to do that.
Well, yeah, that's how you live in this game. So that's hence why we're road dogs. I mean, we're always on tour as much as possible. Not only the fact that we love to be on tour, we love to play. I mean, that's ultimately that's what the dream is to be on stage and play with a rocking crowd and the energy, and it's just you can't replace it. So the only way you can do it is to get off your ass and say goodbye and go do a lot of shows in a row. That's just the way it's set up. And yes, while you're at it, you're doing your best to sell merch, push your material out there, spread the word, and when people buy your merch and buy your music, that's how we survive. That's how it works. We're putting out, we're trying to get it back, but it's definitely it's challenging. It's very challenging. You got to be on your toes, and you got to be, as they say, you need to be moving forward, because if you're not, you're falling backwards. There's no standing still here. So we like to move forward if possible.
Another track too that I wanted to talk about before we move on from The Evil Divide is Hatred United. I thought that was a really cool track, very heavy track. Andreas Kisser from Sepultura contributed to the song. Talk a little bit about that. How did he get involved? Whose idea was that, and things like that?
Oh, that's a pretty good story. That was
me and Rob talked about it. I remember I threw out the idea. Why don't you have Andreas come out and do a solo? Because me and Rob,
you guys have relations with Andreas. You've known him. Things like that.
Oh yeah, I mean we've toured with Sepultura, and Andreas is a great player, a great dude. Yeah. I threw it out, to Rob, as we, because me and Rob always talk about cool stuff to do with the band, and I threw out that idea, and I think it was at Vakken, when we played Vakken, Rob ended up hanging out with Andreas, drinking wine and listening to Queen and vibing out, and I guess from there it just Rob and Andreas just connected.
Well, even beyond that, once after we had like thought, yeah, that'll be, we got to ask him to do a solo on the album. That'd be a great idea. Like, our styles would be that's a cool combo. And so we were crisscrossing Europe on that tour, and we played like a number of festivals with them. And he had said, because he wanted to interview me for his radio show that he does in Brazil. So this was like ongoing, that like we gotta get a moment together where I can do an interview of you. So it just didn't happen the first night, but we knew we were gonna meet up at other festivals. We're like, we'll get it one of these times. And then it got into my head that when we do the interview, when he interviews me, at the end of the interview, I already had the plan. I was like, all right, I'm gonna ask him in his interview if he'll do a solo on our album. This way he can't refuse.
On the spot?
Yeah, he can't refuse.
Man.
You're right. So the next festival, it didn't happen, and the third time I finally went on their bus after the show, and that's when we were drinking wine. Like you said, we were like having a great time. Then all right, let's have the interview. And then in the interview, and sure enough, at the end, and it worked. Because, he was like, well, yes, of course. And, followed through. And actually, so when we were writing the album, because the idea already existed, I didn't even know what song, but I just knew I wanted, that would be sick. So that was really cool, because picking the solo section and the part where he would play and kind of writing the part, even like, I was wanting a part that was, in my mind, kind of the vibe of what was a little bit Sepultura kind of thing, where he would do his thing and it would seem whatever. So it worked out perfectly, and I love what he did on there. He did a fucking perfect solo that I would have wanted, total his style, and matching the crazy dive bomb stuff that I'm doing in my solo, and it's just one of my favorite parts on any of our records.
Well, Andreas Kisser is a legend. He's a kick-ass guitar player, and I was really kind of excited. I think a lot of people didn't know that, on the back end, a lot of these musicians, have relationships, and it's great to kind of see them mix musically and kind of see what comes up. Killer track. I love it, man. Great record, all around, all together. Obviously, people know that you did this record again with Jason Sukoff over there at the Audio Hammer in Florida. I don't think you guys have ever recorded with the producer for that long. No. And so talk a little bit about why the decision was made to go with Jason Sukoff again.
We did the first two records with him, Relentless and Dream, and we work well with him, and we, when it came to doing The Evil Divide, we just knew the songs, hearing the songs in demo form, like, we have to go back to Jason, it just felt right to go back with him. It's just like recording with your friend, you just feel that comfort, and he knows us, we know him, he knows how each of us work, and he could just dial everything in. It's just, and he has a great ear, good chemistry, and he has a great ear.
Didn't he play on one of the tracks?
He played on like every album he's heard.
But yeah, Divide, he played on the track,
Cause for Alarm.
Yeah. A solo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing. And on top of that, everything that Ted said, of course, we're comfortable. The comfortable feeling helps you release and express more freely, you know what I mean? Like, you're past dealing with any like personal stuff or figuring out how you work, and we can cut straight to the chase about anything, which is very efficient when you're working, right?
And you guys because you guys have recorded with big time producers. I remember, what was that guy's name? Nick
Raskulinecz.
Yeah, that guy was big time.
Norman.
Yeah, those are.
Oh, dude, and we learn a lot from these people too. It's a great experience. They all are. Every album that we've done, I'd have to say, was a good experience because of the one thing, the learning process of different people's approach and stuff like that. But another thing that's kind of trip is that now, the later in our career that we are, in our age and stuff now, because of that experience, so I like to get involved with the production a lot myself. So I'm like basically a step away from producing the thing by myself. But I don't want to do that because I like collaborating with someone. I like bouncing ideas. So me and Jason totally collaborate like that easily, which is great for me, because it's going to be a stiff situation if I'm having we just don't have that. We just work, we laugh a lot, and he knows what we're up, and so we can like quickly achieve what we're trying to do, and so we just thinking, it's a good relationship. It's been working.
It's like they could finish each other's sentences, you know what I mean? So, And
there's no fear or apprehension to tell that dude how you really feel.
No, and he has no fear going the same way at me.
Yeah.
And another thing on top of it, dude.
That sucks.
And dude, he's a fucking amazing guitar player.
Yeah.
Like just his guitar playing, and we're a guitar-based band, so it's awesome because he pushes our guitar playing a lot, all the time, pushing your playing level. Like so I like that, you know, as from one guitar player to another.
And, let's move on now and talk a little bit about what you've been doing in support of the Evil Divide. You guys have consistently, always, you said earlier, we're road dogs. We've been out on the road. We're almost at the 1 year mark of the release of the record in May of 2017. You guys are going to continue to support this record, obviously.
of course,
What's the plan for the rest of this year, Jay?
we get home about March 7th, and we have a few months off. Then we go to Europe, July and August for the festivals and some headlining shows. And there's stuff being talked about in the fall into December, but with who and where, that's yet to be determined. But we plan to stay busy from September on.
Nice. I'm glad. So, I mean, and it seems like the last record you put out was when the Dream Calls for Blood came out in 2013. This one came out 2016. It's going to be a little while before we get a new Death Angel record, huh?
Well,
2019?
I mean, depending on what tours are coming our way, because that's like we're in the touring cycle right now.
Yeah.
So, but that said, we still don't want it to take forever in between albums either. We absolutely don't want that to happen because we want to create, write, record, release more music as much as possible, And so yeah, when we come home from this tour, we have a couple months before we hit the summer festivals. It's in our plan to write already for the next album,
great, yeah.
so we can get a chunk of the writing going, and we're gonna make it happen.
Be a step ahead.
You'd be a step ahead. So it's just so that will hopefully lead us to having an album out sooner than later. Yeah.
And as we end out, guys, just a couple of other things, promotional items. One is, I think a lot of fans are really kind of excited and intrigued by your new kind of like, I guess, the fan club thing, the pack that you guys are doing. I've kind of really looked into it. I've seen that you guys are really doing a lot of cool promos and giveaways through the pack. Ted, if you can, share a little bit about the people out there who do not yet know about that.
Well, I mean, it was always in our plan to do some sort of fan club. We've talked about it. And, I'm heavily on social media. I take care of the band's socials. So, Rob and Mark, check it out as well. And this whole thing, Facebook and all that is pretty good. But I thought, how about trying to create something to get away from all the noise of social media, all the advertisements and all the trolling, bashing and all that, and just kind of create a cool little place for our fans. Because it got to the point where we kind of knew who the diehards are, by first name basis, and they're so into it, and they're really supportive. You just see their excitement about the band, and so we launched this fan club, the pack, for them. Give them special merchandise and a lot of exclusive stuff that you don't see on YouTube.
I saw the skateboard deck. I want it.
Oh yeah, well, we're gonna have a drawing. People who join,
It's cool.
yeah, people who join. We want to do stuff like that for the diehards. And having this fan club, it's kind of like it's a slow build. It's not a quick bang, and the fans helping us build it, and us building it with them kind of helps keep the Death Angel story going.
I still have my Rob Cavastani deck. Remember the Rob Cavastani decks that came out? Yeah,
The Death Angel ones, but with different band members on them. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Rob Cavastani.
I never even got one of those damn things.
Yeah, it's in the MetalWorks room.
Those are nice.
I had you sign it
Not
many
the-
years
not
ago.
the other ones with the full artwork or the other.
Mine has you on it.
Oh, that's the best one.
It is. Let's talk about now. The band. It's so kind of not bizarre to me, but it helps me. It makes me ponder because Death Angel has had such a long, successful career where we've seen ups and downs, and now in 2011 when the new Death Angel came around. There was a documentary that was created in support of that era called the Thrashumentary. It finally came out after people talking about it for so long. I want to get your kind of thoughts and feelings on the Thrashumentary. It covered the band from the new kind of, well, it talked about the old era of the band, but it kind of then focused on the new era of the band, obviously up until the release of Relentless Retribution. When it finally came out, how did you feel about it? Were you happy with how it represented the band?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty much,
Dead on.
It encompasses the whole damn thing. I mean, up to the point, of course, where it left off, and then there's a little gap before it actually came out. But you know, it's our Chinese democracy, so we wanted to build it up, then let it anticipate, let it build up, and it goes away, but it's still here. And is it ever gonna happen? And then finally, oh shit, it's out. That's out. And then we just let it sneak out. But I mean, you know, it came to an idea. So, anyways, first of all, yes, I'm happy with it. It's, you know, it's long. You better have make your popcorn and have a seat, because it tells a lot of detail, and there's a lot of great interviews from a lot of our peers in the music business. You know, it's an interesting documentary on not just the band, but like the scene, like the metal scene, the thrash scene that we're a part of, like basically our life in music, and the people around us, all the other bands that connect to us and all this shit, and story of the Bay Area thrash scene. It's kind of all talking about that, as well as not only just our band. So that makes it interesting on different level of metal and music. And there's reasons why it didn't come out right away. We were talking about that and stuff, but like it just was taking so long, and we just kept adding to it and getting more interviews from people. And there was even more people we wanted to get interviews for, we just couldn't line them up. And by this point, we're writing the new album already, and then it just got shelved for a minute.
Speaking of, I remember, because we're bros and we talk behind the scenes, and I can edit this out if need be, but but there was a conversation where like Kirk Hammett was supposed to fucking be in this video, and then there was no Kirk Hammett.
He totally would have been. It's just we couldn't line it up. Like we were getting busy. We were moving into the next phase. We were starting to do the next album already. We didn't want to delay. Like, so I just put all my attention into writing, and pretty soon it lost the attention of the we were like, well, what about the Thrashumentary? We're like, well, we'll finish it. Like, just hold up. We got to write a new album, man. And then we started, and then we went on tour, and then we're like, well, we can get more footage and extend it into the Dream era. So we were starting to think about how we're going to do that and stuff. Then we were like, oh, dude, let's just wrap this thing up already. And then, all of a sudden, while all that was going on, it became the whole thing to make it such a package that it would include a live album. Like, it would only not just be like, all of a sudden the industry has evolved to where you need to include more with something, with product, because everyone's just downloading. You got to it's like the game's ever evolving, right? So that's why you always have a bonus DVD or whatever.
Yeah.
So now it's reverse. Now you're gonna have a DVD with a bonus record with it, right? It's like, oh shit, well, we better deliver. So we started recording the live album. Yeah, man. So then we're like, okay, we're gonna have our Christmas shows coming up. So we'll record Christmas shows, and then we'll get our live album, which was recorded in San Francisco. But that took a while, you know what I mean? You don't just show up with your fucking boombox and press record. You got to create the album. There's artwork to be done and everything for it, because it was actually released as a standalone live album too. Yeah. So out of doing this Thrashumentary, we inadvertently made a live album too, which was a whole process to complete. Then we bundled it together to release it and release a live album separately, but so again, of course, that takes a while, right? Assembling all that shit while we're in the middle of a tour for another album. So that's our excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
I think that was a great decision on the part of the band to kind of end it where Relentless Retribution started.
Yeah. That's enough.
Because that was the new era. And now maybe in the future we'll get another documentary. It'll come out in 2025, whatever.
Well,
the reason why it's long, because we're only going to do it once. So you better be following us now, from there until now.
Gentlemen, it's been my great pleasure to have you on Rob's MetalWorks. Death Angel and you guys have a special place in our hearts with the crew. We love you guys. We will always continue to support you. Any last words as we end out for people around the world who will see this interview?
Thank you for everything, the support, not only you, the fans, everyone. I mean, I can't we can't thank enough, not only the fans and the press, the label, everyone at home to help keep this train rolling and to help us do what we love to do.
How about you, Rob?
I agree. That says it all. It's just nothing but thanks and expression of gratitude and appreciation, because if it wasn't for all of you guys, we could never do this. And at the same time, we'll guarantee that so long as we exist, we'll always give it 100%, nothing less. You know that's true, too.
Remember, everyone out there, the brand new Death Angel is called The Evil Divide. It's out on Nuclear Blast Records. Came out last May. Be sure to get it in your phones right now. Download it, buy it, check it out. It fucking kicks ass. Yeah. That's how we listen to music now, man. Yeah. You saw Rob and Ted of the band only right here on Rob's MetalWorks.